Hello. I have not done a video in a very, very long time, and I thought it was time to catch up. There's been a lot of things that have happened, and I just want to document them not only for myself, but also for others in case they are going through similar things that I have been going through. So let's get started. At the beginning of 2020, in January, I was working one day in the morning. I think it was around 7 a.m. And I was already working because I was working ridiculous hours. I think I had started working at 5 a.m. that morning, and I had decided, okay, I'm going to get up for a minute. And I couldn't stand up straight. I was completely bent over, as if I was like this. So this is my legs. This is my body. My hips were stuck. They wouldn't let me go up. It was very painful. I know I was absolutely sobbing, crying, and hysterical. And I had basically lost control. And I was getting up to go to the restroom. It was 7 a.m. I had my cup of coffees, and I was headed to the restroom. And basically lost control of all function, which was fantastic because then that had to be cleaned up while I was bent over like this. Remember? This is my legs. This is my body. And it was just awful. I felt so super bad for my son. He was still asleep. And of course, he jumped out of bed, hearing all the commotion. And I ended up calling somebody to take me to the hospital. Because I could not stay like this, and there was something severely wrong. If you lose body function like that means that there are things that are not working correctly, fibromyalgia or not. So timeline-wise, about 4 months before this, I had received my official diagnosis of fibromyalgia, and due to all the chronic pain that I had been having, I had just finished 3 months of physical therapy because I was having a lot of weakness in my left leg, and I just wanted to try and figure out how to get some strength back. So that's why I was taking physical therapy. But I was already done with physical therapy because I had ended it in 2019. I didn't have any more sessions in 2019. I didn't have any more sessions in 2020. Wasn't planning to. And then this happened. So I called somebody. I called my dad to come and pick me up and get me down the stairs. I somehow managed to throw some clothes on. I don't even know how I did that. Probably a sweats and a shirt, a baggy shirt, and that was probably about it. And it was absolutely the hardest thing to go down my apartment stairs. There are 26 of them. Yes, I've counted them because there's been many days and many times that I haven't been able to get up and down them. I've sometimes crawled up them. I haven't ever crawled down them. I thought for sure I was going to have to sit on my bottom and scoot my way down the stairs this time. I debated on calling an ambulance, but I really, really disliked my local hospital, and so I did not want to go to their ER. So that's why I called my dad, and I said, we need to go to the neighboring town and talk to them. So he picked me up. I made it down the stairs. I don't even know how. one at a time, in agony, and tears pouring down my face the whole time. I was crying in the car. I mean, it hurt so bad to just sit. It was ridiculous. And so we go to the ER and talk to the doctor. He asks, what diagnosis, what's your medical history? I told him about my cervical fusion in my neck. I told him about my diagnosis with fibromyalgia that just happened 4 months ago. And that I had just finished up physical therapy for weakness in my left leg. And basically, he's like, there's nothing wrong with you. They didn't do any tests. They didn't, I think they gave me a couple shots. They did not give me any fluids, nothing. They didn't check anything really. I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. Like, when I got there, I was like, I have to go to the bathroom again. They're like, well, we'll have someone roll you over there. So they rolled me over to the bathroom, made me get up in there by myself and use the restroom or whatever. To them, that signaled that I was okay. So then I made it back to the wheelchair and then used my toes to wheel myself back to the room, because I was sitting in a hallway. And I was like, this doesn't seem like a safe spot to be sitting. So I really need to be moving back to the room. I mean, how else? Nobody's going to know that I'm here. So that's what I did. I just wheeled myself back to the room. Because I could do those things, they didn't do anything. They said it was the fibromyalgia and to see my regular doctor. So I went home that day. I didn't end up working. I got my way into my bed somehow. I made it up the stairs. I had some muscle relaxers. I took them. For one, that made me sleep. I don't keep pain medication on hand, and nobody should unless you absolutely have to take it. And so I just was taking my gabapentin that I had been prescribed. So I had taken that. So I didn't take anything else. I think I took maybe an ibuprofen with the muscle relaxer. I don't know. I don't tend to take ibuprofen because of my vertical sleeve surgery. I'm not supposed to take NSAIDs because of the staples in my stomach. So I don't really reach for ibuprofen. And so, I slept it off that day. Next day I woke up. I was like, okay, this is bad. Like, I couldn't hardly stand. I couldn't stand on my left leg. I'm like, there's something wrong. So I call my primary care office to try to get into my primary care doctor. Okay. So couldn't get into my primary care physician, but I couldn't get into my primary care physician, and they ended up telling me that I should see another doctor while I was there. Oh, and the sun is coming in from the woods, so sorry about that. It's hard to find a spot that gives me equal lighting when I'm outside. But so I went in and seen this doctor that day. She's like, oh, it's sciatica. Do these. She left the room for a while. I don't know what she was doing. And she gave me a piece of paper that had these stretches on it. She's like, do this. No x-rays. No nothing. I told them all of my symptoms. I had basically lost control of my bladder. I barely made it to the restroom every time I have to go. And I was like, this is a problem. And it wasn't like that before. Yes, I am 41, and yes, that can happen. But this was sudden. This happened the same day that I got stuck like this. It wasn't a gradual thing. It hadn't been happening before that. It was the same day that I was stuck like this. She blew it off too. She didn't order any x-rays, nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sent me home with this piece of paper with stretches on it. I'm like, okay, this is not okay. At the time that I had first called in, I said I need to get into my primary care doctor. Like, I need to get into her. And so they went ahead and put me on on the first available appointment with her. And so I think that was like 2 weeks or something, a week and a half. And so I was like, okay, I just got to make it a week and a half, and then I'll get into somebody that will listen to me. Because at that point, up until that point, for the most part, she had been listening to me. Then after that, so I went in, I just kind of made it through. Sitting at work was absolutely horrendous. I could barely function. The pain was just at probably a 15 on the pain scale. I mean, beyond, like, I cried multiple times a day. I mean, every time I got up, it was just horrible. I had started I had a hiking stick, because I used to do a lot of hiking, and I had a hiking stick in my closet, and I used that hiking stick to get around my apartment, because I just couldn't trust myself to not fall. And there were a couple times that I did fall. So then, after time went on, I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. I can't wait for this appointment, because I just need to see somebody. Somebody needs to help me. And so I go to this primary care physician appointment, and she just freaks out.